Okay, here we are, Matthew Russell Lee, Inner City Press, here in Foley Square in Lower Manhattan, today, Thursday, January 4th, 2024. Now, of course, the Epstein news, which we've covered for a long time, is suddenly everywhere. Every single media organization feels the need to chime in on these documents that were unsealed yesterday evening. We reported on them. We put many of them up. We're gonna get to that at the end, and you'll see in the way that we do. But here's we're gonna come into it kind of backwards. Number one, right here behind me in 40 Foley, we're covering the case, a trial about bribery in the MCC jail, which is now closed. It's right down the street. That's where Jeffrey Epstein died. And there was a reference in the trial to a high-profile death that led to lockdowns, and that the Bloods were blaming somebody for it. So the echoes are loud coming out of that now empty jail. There's also a case that we're intervening as such of a predator named Paduch, Darius Paduch. He's a urologist that's been in prison for alleged serial predatory behavior, including of youths. And the government, this is significant, because the unsealing is in a civil case, so the DOJ had no role in sealing or unsealing. And as we reported during the Maxwell case, they did take a very narrow approach and didn't pursue all the strands. But in the Darius Paduch case, the U.S. Attorney's Office actually has asked to seal the proposed bond suretor of Paduch, in contravention of what we thought was a precedent we'd won in Sam Bankman-Fried, in which the suretors, the people stepping up to the plate, have to be public. That's what a judicial document is. In any event, in other crypto news, we were reported yesterday on a civil case. It's not getting a lot of play. It's FTC versus Ehrlich and Voyager. They settled with Voyager for over $1 billion, but the CEO, Ehrlich, is still being pursued. He wants to move to dismiss. He's hired a former prosecutor as the defense attorney. It's interesting that Mashinsky, CZ, Bankman-Fried, all indicted, and in the case of Bankman-Fried, convicted. Ehrlich, not so much, just civil. In any event. Now, let's turn to the UN and Epstein. This is the full Epstein 360. Ghislaine Maxwell, of course, held a press conference inside the UN. And in yesterday's documents, the very first one we tweeted out was her and Terramar, which was her undersea foundation that the UN partnered with and gave her a prominent position in the ECOSOC chamber. In fact, Antonio Guterres, the current Secretary General, had one of only 5 representatives on the Terramar board. There's a lot to be said. And now, with that, I'm going to turn to this new presentation. This is something that we began late last year, and we're going to try it again. See how it goes. This is our take on it. Big news missed it for years, like so many other things. Blackmail, pedo, serving up skinny blondes to their bosses. He likes them young. Now emails and depositions unsealed, too late to help. Bill Richardson is dead, and the portly Portuguese ex-Paul ensconced in immunity. Jeffrey Epstein is dead. Helping hands in MCC. The tomb is empty, and only now the spotlight on. Okay, innercitypress.com, heading into court.